Yep. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. We are from Group 2, and today we would like to present about leadership and power and politics. And the member of this group are Muhammad Sadikin, Nabila Alia Balkis, Nadia Afriani Dungyo, Novaldia Bidin, Putri Yasmin Ala Adawiyah, and Raisa Mina Ismail. And the first topic will be presented by Muhammad Sadikin. Muhammad Sadikin, please. Time and place is yours.
Okay. Leadership. Leadership is the ability of an individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide follower or other member of an organization. Theory of leadership. Trait theory. This leadership theory states certain traits possessed by a person tend to be used as a good leader. In a sense, having certain personal quality does not make someone a great leader. Trait theory is more about the character of leadership that can be formed. Trait possess, among others, attractiveness, intelligence, and charisma. Behavioral theory focuses on the behaviors, attitude, and environment that make a person a great leader. One of the concepts is this theory. Conditioning is which a person tends to act and apply a certain style because the person limited from previous leader or from the environment. Contingency theory. The contingency theory of leadership supposes that a leader effectiveness is contingent on whether or not their leadership style suit a particular situation. According to this theory, an individual can be an effective leader in one circumstance and ineffective leader in another one. Contingency theory of leadership in the workplace. Contingency theory of leadership in the workplace. There are a dozen of factors that can affect leaders' effectiveness, such as the size of them of the team, the scope of a project, and the expense delivery that for a result. Different leaders, each with unique leadership style, will respond to this variable in different ways. Contingency theories would say that no matter how successful a leader is, there will always be particular situation that will challenge them. Therefore, leader must be willing to acknowledge the fact that their success depends partly on their circumstance in addition to their personal skills.
The next theory of leadership is Leader Member Exchange LMX theory. LMX theory is a theory that supports leader creation of in-group and out-groups. LMX theory argues that because of time pressures, leaders establish a special relationship with a small group of their followers. Leaders induce LMX by rewarding those employees with whom they want a closer linkage and punishing those with whom they do not. The in-group category that leaders in LMX choose is unclear, but they have similar demographic, attitude, and personality characteristic to the leader or higher level of competence than out-group members. Research to test LMX theory has been generally supportive, with substantive evidence that leaders do differentiate among followers. These disparities are far from random. Followers with in-group status will have higher performance ratings, engage in more helping or citizenship behavior at work, and report greater satisfaction with their superior. The next is about charismatic leadership and transformational leadership. Charismatic leadership. Charismatic leadership theory is stating that followers make attribution of heroic or extraordinary leadership abilities when they observe certain behaviors. Charismatic leaders influence others by having a vision that is linked with organization goals and creates a better future. This vision will be stated in formal articulation to persuade the followers to reach all goals and purpose. The characteristic of charismatic leadership has a vision that proposes a future better, able to clarify the importance of vision in terms that are understandable to others, willing to take a high personal risk, incur high costs, and engage in self-sacrifice to achieve the vision, sensitive to other abilities, needs, and feelings, have an unusual behavior, and have an extroverted, self-confident, and achievement-oriented personalities. Transformational leadership. Transformational leaders inspire followers to transcend their self-interest for the good of the organization and can have an extraordinary effect on their followers. Companies with transformational leaders have greater decentralization of responsibility, managers have more propensity to take risks, and compensation plans are geared toward long-term results. The characteristic of transformational leaders are provide vision and sense of mission, instills pride, gain respect and trust, communicate high expectation, use symbol to focus efforts, express important purpose in simple ways, promotes intelligence, rationally, and careful problem solving, and give personal attention, treats each employee individually, coach, and advise. The next is about authentic leadership, ethic, and trust. Authentic leaders are leaders who know who they are, know what they believe in and value, and act on those values and beliefs openly and candidly. Their followers would consider them to be ethical people. The primary quality produced by authentic leadership is trust. Authentic leaders share information, encourage open communication, and stick to their ideals so people come to have faith in them. Ethical leaders use it in a socially constructive way to serve others. Leaders who treat their followers with fairness, especially by providing honest, frequent, and accurate information, are seen as more effective. Leaders that are highly ethical tend to have followers who engage in more organizational citizenship behavior and who are more willing to bring problems to the leader's attention. Trust. Trust is a psychological state that exists when you agree to make yourself vulnerable to another because you have positive expectation about how things are going to turn out. Trust is a primary attribute associated with leadership. Breaking it can have serious adverse effects on a group performance. If the trust is gained, the followers are willing to risk taking, information sharing, and increase the group effectiveness and productivity.
Next, leading for the future mentoring. Mentoring. A mentor is a senior employee who sponsor and support a less experienced employee. A protect. Successful mentor are good teacher. The present ideas clearly, listen well, and empathize with protect problems. Mentor commitment. Critical to a program effectiveness. Mentor must see the relationship beneficial to themselves and the protect. Formal mentoring programs are also most likely to succeed if they appropriately match the work style, need, and skill of protect and mentor. Mentor may be effective not because of the function they profit, but because of the resource they can obtain. A mentor connect to a powerful network can build relationship that will help the protect advance. Most evidence suggests that networks, but whether built through a mentor or not, are a significant predictor of career success. Next. Challenge to the leadership control. 1. Leadership and an attribution. Attribution theory suggests what important is projecting the appearance of being a leader rather than focusing on actually accomplishment. Leader wannabes who can shape the perception that they're smart, personable, verbally adept, aggressive, hardworking, and consistent in their style can increase the probability their bosses, colleagues, and employee will view them as effective leaders. 2. Substitutes for a neutralizer of leadership. One theory of leadership suggests that in many situations, leader actions are irrelevant. Experience and training are among the subtleties that can replace the need for a leader support or ability to create structure. 3. Online leadership. Online leadership have to think careful about what action they want their digital message to intend, and online negotiation can also be hindered because parties express lower level of trust. Finding and creates effective leaders. One selects 6 leader personality tests and identify trends associated with leadership, extraversion, consistence, and openness to experience. High self-monitor are better at reading situation and adjusting their behavior accordingly. Candidates with high emotional intelligence shall have an advance, especially in situations requiring transformational leadership. To training leadership training of any kind is likely to be more successful with high self-monitor. Such individuals have the flexibility to change their behavior, and leader can be taught situational analysis skill. They can learn how to evaluate situation, modify them to better fit their style, and assess which leader behavior might be most effective in given situation.
B. Power and politics. What is power? Power refers to a capacity that A has to influence the behavior of B. So B acts in accordance with A's wishes. Someone can thus have power but not use it. It is a capacity or potential. Probably the most important aspect of power is that it is a function of dependence. The greater B dependence on A, the greater A's power in the relationship. A person can have power over you only if he or she controls something you desire. Contrasting leadership and power. Power does not require goal compatibility, merely dependence. Leadership, on the other hand, requires some congruence between the goals of the leader and those being led. A second difference relates to the direction of influence. Leadership focuses on the downward influence on followers. It minimizes the importance of lateral and upward influence patterns. Power does not. In still another difference, leadership research for the most part emphasizes style. Basis of power. First, formal power. Formal power is based on individuals' positioning in an organization. It can come from the ability of course and or reward, or from formal authority. A. Coercive power. The coercive power base depends on fear of the negative result from failing to comply. Second, reward power. The opposite of coercive power is reward power, with which people comply because it produces positive benefits. Someone who can distribute rewards others view as valuable will have power over them. 3. Legitimate power. Informal groups and organizations, probably the most common access to one or more of the power bases is through legitimate power. It represents the formal authority to control and use organizational resources based on structural position in the organization. Second, personal power. Personal power which comes from individuals' unique characteristics. There are two bases of personal power: expertise and the respect of the admiration of others. A. Expert power is influence wielded as a result of expertise, special skill, or knowledge. As jobs become more specialized, we become increasingly dependent on experts to achieve goals. It is generally acknowledged that physicians have expertise and hence expert power, so they wield power as a result of their expertise. B. Referent power is based on identification with a person who has desirable resources or personal traits. If I like, respect, and admire you, you can exercise power over me because I want to please you. That was one example of referent powers. Which basis of power most effective? Research suggests pretty clearly that the personal sources of power are most effective. Both expert and referent power are positively related to employee satisfaction with supervision, their organizational commitment and their performance, whereas reward and legitimate power seem to be unrelated to these outcomes. One source of formal power, coercive power, actually can backfire in that it is negatively related to employee satisfaction and commitment. Power and perceived justice. Individuals in positions of power tend to be blamed for their failures and credited for their success to a greater degree than those who have less power. In the same way, studies suggest that leaders and managers in position of power pay greater cost of unfairness and reap greater benefit for fairness.
The next, power dependence and collective action. The third proposition concerns the power dependence involved when a range of agencies come together to act collectively. Put simply, there is a divergence between the wish for effective and swift action and the lack of coordination, which inevitably follows from dependence on others. Governance as an interactive process between a range of organizations draw attention to the difficulties of negotiation, share goals, and agendas. Moreover, the contribution of partners drawn from different sectors to partnerships is not equal. Research has shown that public agencies and local authorities are frequently responsible for financing and initiating partnership and play the major role in resourcing them on a day-to-day basis, especially in the provision of office space and personnel. The general dependency postulates state that the greater B's dependency on A, the greater the power A has over B. Dependency is inversely proportional to the alternative sources of supply. Dependency is increased when the resource control is important, scarce, and non-substitutable. The next is power tactics. Power tactics are strategies that people may use to influence their bosses, coworkers, and employees. Research has identified 9 distinct influence tactics: legitimacy, rational persuasion, inspirational appeals, consultations, exchange, personal appeals, ingratiations, pressure, and coalitions. Evidence indicates that rational persuasions, inspirational appeal, and consultation tend to be the most effective, while pressure tends to be the less effective of the 9. Situational and cultural factors also affect the effectiveness of power tactics. The next is sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is any unwanted activity of a sexual nature that affects an individual's employment. A recent review concluded that 58% of women report having experienced potentially harassing behaviors and 24% report having experienced harassment at work. One problem with sexual harassment is that it is a matter of perceptions. While some behaviors indisputably constitute harassment, men and women continue to differ to some degree on what constitutes harassment. Sexual harassment is related to the concept of power, as sexual harassment is most likely to occur when there is a large power differential. The supervisor-employee dyad best characterizes an unequal power relationship where formal power gives the supervisor the capacity to reward and coerce. Sexual harassment may also occur among coworkers, and power tactics may include the withholding of information.
Next is cause and consequence of political behavior. Factor and contributing to political behavior. Some of the factors that seem to drive the unique qualities of the people, the organization, employees, and others are the result of the organization's culture or internal environment. First factor is individual factors. Researchers have identified certain behavior at the individual level, and in terms of trait, they found that employees who have high self-monitoring or will exhibit higher levels of social conformity, have an internal locus of control, and have a high need for power, are more likely to engage in political behavior and are more likely to be skilled in political behavior than low self-monitors. Second factor is organizational factors. Certain situation and culture are also promote politics, specifically when an organization's resources are declining, when the existing pattern of resource is changing, and when there is opportunity for promotion, politicking is more likely to survive. When organization downsize to improve efficiency, resources must be reduced, and people may engage in political action to safeguard what they have. Culture characteristic by low trust, unclear performance evaluation system, democratic decision-making, high pressures for performance, and self-serving senior managers and others will also create breeding grounds for politicking. The less trust within the organization, the higher the level of political behavior, and the more likely it will be of the illegitimate kind. So high trust should suppress political behavior in general and inhibit illegitimate action in particular. How do people respond to organizational politics? The politics performance relationship appears to be moderated by an individual's understanding of the hows and whys of the organizational politics. When both politics and understanding are high, performance is likely to increase because the individual will see political action as an opportunity. This is consistent with what you might expect among individuals with well-honed political skills. But when understanding is low, individuals are more likely to see politics as a threat, which can have a negative effect on the job performance. Impression management. Impression management is the process by which individuals attempt to control the impression others form of them. Low self-monitor then tend to present images of themselves that are consistent with their personalities, regardless of the beneficial or detrimental effect for them. In contrast, high self-monitors are good at reading situation and holding their appearances and behavior to fit each situation. When people engage in impression management, they are sending a false message that might be true under other circumstances. So the impression manager must be cautioned not to be perceived as insincere or manipulative. Next is the ethic of behaving politically. Immoral people can justify almost any behavior. Those who are powerful, articulate, and persuasive are most vulnerable to ethical lapses because they are likely to be able to get away with unethical practices successfully. When faced with an ethical dilemma regarding organizational politics, try to consider whether playing politics is worth the risk and whether others might be harmed in the process.
Okay, I think that's all from us. Thank you very much for listening.